Welcome to the University of Kentucky's Backyard Streams program. This presentation will cover basic information related to backyard streams and steps to improving backyard streams in your local watershed. Backyard streams are basically just what they sound like, streams that run through your backyard or front yard or along the side yard. They are streams that may run through your local parks, cross through industrial or business districts, or just be part of the rural landscape. These streams have a defined channel, bed, and banks, and have water flowing at least some portion of the year. These streams have many challenges, as you learned in the Urban Stream Challenges module. These challenges include impervious surfaces, utilities, and expectations. Considering all of the challenges for urban streams, where do we start to begin improving our local waterways? And how do we get started? We can start by creating stream buffers in our own backyards. The first step to improving a backyard stream is to consider a site assessment and evaluation. Take a walk along the stream and ask yourself some questions. It might help to take a friend or neighbor along so you can talk about what you see. Are there places where the stream banks are eroding? How does your stream look after a rain event? Do you know where the property lines are? What does the stream look like up and downstream of your property lines? Is there a buffer between the stream itself and the adjacent land use, such as a mowed lawn, building, etc.? Does your stream have steep or vertical banks, such that you have to jump down to get into the stream, or is it hard to get to the stream? This image indicates someone has created a barrier between the backyard and the stream. Notice that mowed lawn is continuous all the way to the edge of the stream. What kind of plants are growing in and around the stream? Are they desirable? Are they potentially invasive? This stream has lots of winter creeper, Latin name Euonymus fortunei, that can choke out native plants and does not provide habitat benefits to stream corridors. This culvert delivers stormwater to the adjacent stream and may contribute to erosion. It is good to document the types of infrastructure that may impact water quantity and velocity as it enters your stream. Eroded stream banks, such as those pictured, are often a result of increased runoff due to increased impervious surfaces upstream. Eroded stream banks can also be a result of mowing too close to the edge of streams and not having adequate vegetation along the stream to hold soil in place. Take note of where you see eroded stream banks as you evaluate your stream. Before you start any type of stream improvement project, it is important to understand local, state, and federal laws, regulations, and ordinances that may impact your project. The Clean Water Act of 1972 is the federal law that protects water resources in the United States so that streams meet their designated uses of swimming, drinking, or fishing. Sections 401 and 404 are most relevant to stream improvement projects. Section 401 is administered by the Kentucky Division of Water and covers impacts of discharges on the quality of water. Section 404 covers the discharge of dredged or fill materials and is administered by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. State and local ordinances may be administered by local governments. For example, homeowners in Lexington-Fayette County, Kentucky, interested in planting a streamside buffer zone must first obtain a permit from the Lexington-Fayette Urban County Government Division of Environmental Services. Once the permit is granted, the area will be exempt from the weed ordinance so long as it is properly maintained by the property owner. You will learn more about laws and ordinances related to backyard streams in the Permitting 101 module. After making a site assessment, it's time to start making a plan for action. A good place to start is with a sketch of the area as is and a list of things you'd like to see improved. Using graph paper or a grid sheet may be helpful in documenting what exists and deciding what you have space to include. Inventory existing buildings, gardens, paths, soils, utilities, and anything else of concern in the area. Now start to add things you'd like to incorporate into the improvement. Do you want a fire pit near the stream? Maybe a sitting space? Do you want to maintain visibility of the stream from a certain angle in your home? Remember to avoid expensive patio work, buildings, or anything else that could be ruined by floodwaters. Once you have decided on hardscaping features, begin choosing plants that will stabilize streams and be tolerant of varying moisture levels. One consideration that will drive your plant selections is your overall approach to establishment of the stream buffer. A passive stream buffer establishment approach, as pictured on the left, may be as simple as establishing a no-mow zone, while an active establish approach, as pictured in the photo on the right, will involve much more time, effort, and cost. A passive stream buffer establishment approach allows plants to naturally establish along the stream by creating no-mow zones. Plants that exist, as well as seeds in the soil, known as the seed bank, will grow to create a stream buffer. Passive buffers are easy to create and are relatively low maintenance. However, if buffers are abandoned and not given some level of maintenance, unwanted plants are likely to establish and take over. Non-native invasive plants like honeysuckle, winter creeper, and multiflora rose are likely to take over when mowing ceases. This is not a desirable stream buffer habitat and will not likely be acceptable to neighbors. Passively established stream buffers will need maintenance. Mowing once or twice per year may be desirable to limit woody plant establishment and will promote grasses and wildflowers. Mowing in early spring, March through April, is recommended for this strategy. Spot treatments of invasive plants or noxious weeds may also be needed. This image is an example of a stream buffer established by minimal plantings and maintained by a passive no-mow zone approach. No-mow zones are often delineated with signage or boundary markers to prevent mowing crews from encroaching into the buffer zone. This is an example of an on-farm stream buffer established by creating a no-mow zone. The lack of maintenance in the buffer has resulted in invasion by bush honeysuckle, Johnson grass, and Callery pear trees. These undesirable species need to be removed to create an optimal stream buffer. An active stream buffer establishment approach involves many more steps than a passive approach. Once the initial site assessment has been completed, you will need to create a planting plan. Some things to consider when making your planting plan include: what is your budget? How wide will your stream buffer be? What do you want the buffer to look like in 5 years or even 10 years? Who will be responsible for maintaining the buffer? When utilizing an active stream buffer establishment approach, you may consider consulting with a design professional. Your planting plan may involve removing undesirable species such as winter creeper and bush honeysuckle so that you can replace them with plants that will better serve the stream buffer habitat and improve water quality. Removal often includes both mechanical methods as well as treatment with herbicides. Be cautious with herbicides. Use herbicides sparingly and in accordance to the label directions. Some herbicides are specially formulated for use in and around aquatic environments. Bank stabilization may or may not be needed, and in some cases may not be feasible. However, Erosion will continue to degrade stream conditions in locations where stream banks are steeply sloping, vertical, or overhanging. Stream banks not protected by root systems or stabilization structures are subject to erosion. Grading stream banks to a 3-to-1 slope or less and installing erosion control measures prior to establishing a stream buffer will provide greater likelihood of success at protecting the stream. It is important to note that this type of stream bank grading will be costly and requires permits. Do not excavate stream banks or stream corridors without first acquiring proper permits and permissions. It is recommended that you consult with a licensed professional engineer when considering bank stabilization. Selecting plants for your stream buffer may be one of the most challenging components simply because of the vast number of plant options available. To begin, include a combination of trees, shrubs, and herbaceous plants in your plan. Having multiple types of plants will provide diverse root systems to hold soil in place and absorb excess nutrients. Next, select plants that can tolerate wet conditions if they are close to the stream and drier conditions if they will be further up the stream bank. You will likely include wetland plants, moisture-tolerant plants, as well as moderate to dry soil-tolerant plants. You will learn more about selecting plants in the Riparian Buffer Plants 101 module. For some stream buffer projects, it will be valuable to enlist volunteers to assist with plant installation. This photo shows volunteers planting small herbaceous perennials, often called plugs, in a buffer that had been treated with herbicide to kill existing mowed grass. The final step is to maintain your stream buffer. As previously discussed, there are varying levels of maintenance depending upon how active or passive your buffer plan will be. Stream buffers should be inspected regularly, especially following heavy rain and storm events. Remove litter and invasive plants. Prune trees as needed and consider removing the previous year's growth from perennials in early spring. Take pictures to document the stream and plants over time and look for opportunities to share your project with others. Improving our backyard streams is beneficial to all creatures living in the watershed. Thank you for completing this webinar on backyard stream basics. For additional information on backyard streams, visit our website www.uky.edu/BAE/backyard streams.